1, 2, check 1, 2. Testing, testing, testing. Hello, hello, hello. This is the first time I've heard my own voice today. Hello, hello. I didn't realize how quiet I've been today until I spoke. How are you all doing? Welcome back, welcome in. Happy Wednesday, and happy day 1, 2, technically. Day, whatever the start date of the brand new Chinese New Year that we've just shifted over into, the year of the fire horse. Welcome in to the year of the fire horse. We've just left the year of the snake, shedding our skin, and we are ready to ride so fiercely, so swiftly, and on fire, no less, into the next chapter. I'm excited. I have some things planned for us today surrounding the year shifting over. I know that there is also some corresponding celebrations that happened, like Ramadan and Mardi Gras, and trying to think of what else is going on. There is an eclipse coming up. There's just a lot of really good, potent energy at our fingertips. So we're gonna tap into some of that today in our nice, relaxing ASMR atmosphere. I couldn't be more excited. I hope you all had not only a very pleasant and calm Valentine's Day weekend, but the subsequent days that followed. Hopefully some of you in the States had a President's Day off. That would be nice. Wasn't it President's Day? It was some holiday. I don't really work a physical job, as you can see, so I don't know. But I remember seeing something, and hopefully you guys got a long weekend. You got to just enjoy yourselves. Watch my new video. Hopefully you watched that. Tuned in. Oh, because I worked so hard on it for like a full 24 hours to get it out by Valentine's Day. I had President's Day off. It was disorienting. That definitely happens to me whenever I have a long break or a long weekend. It's kind of tough to push yourself back into it, but I'm happy to say I feel like I'm really starting to get back into my groove of things. I'm loving my new setup. Hello, EJ. Thank you so much for 5 gifted subs. That's so sweet of you. By the way, how are the audio levels? And also, do you like the new background track? Whoa, 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 whoa. We just got $100 tip. $100 donation from United FC 18. Says be happy, Cherie. Thank you. In a capitalist world, money is always a good start, but I have a feeling that was for things unrelated to any money worries or woes. So thank you. I appreciate that. What a really generous beginning of a stream. Hello. Thank you so much. Well, yeah, like I was saying, you said on YouTube you like the new track. I'm so glad. I got 3 new background tracks this past weekend. One of them I already used in the new video. This is another one, and then I have one more. I will play you a snippet of all of them, and I will tell you, just for fun, the new track names that I decided on. I'm gonna let you guess what you think this track is called. The rain is separated, so this is just the song. It's very nice by itself. The real names, no, the real names are like quiet morning meditation music, or like beautiful good morning music. Those are the real names. I'm saying, what does it feel like to you? That's kind of how I like to name them. It's like, if I close my eyes, where do I go? Where am I? Am I in space? Am I in a field? Am I in the clouds? Where am I? What does this make me feel like? Where do I feel like I end up when I close my eyes and I'm listening? I'll give you a second. This one I named Valley of the Clouds because I just felt like I was like floating in like puffy, nice pastel clouds. Like it just felt warm and calm and very like clean. There's not a lot happening in the sound mix. It's just very simple. So this one is called Valley of the Clouds. And I'm gonna gently DJ us into the next track. This is the one that I used in the new video. Okay. So take a moment, close your eyes. Where does this one bring you? It's probably a different place than where I went in my mind. I like these names. A fairy glen, totally. So oddly enough, and I'm not sure if it's because of all the YouTube videos I watch, but this one to me felt kind of like, I don't know, there's something about this that almost reminded me of like an empty alleyway at nighttime during the rain, just like something with the city. Like I felt like I was in a city that's empty and it's nighttime and there's like one street light and I'm watching the rain in the light of the street lamp with the darkness all around it. So I just named it Rainy Street. That's it. But your guys' names are a lot better. This one just reminded me of like stand. Love that. How nice. Hello. Sorry about that. I lost you for a second. My OBS disconnected on me. I don't know. I don't know what that was all about, but I'm back now. Hopefully nothing actually crashed. It seems like everything just picked up where it left off. I actually felt really calm during that crash. Anyway, I'm gonna be using this track a lot because it has the built-in water and the rain. I really like this one. Let's go ahead and transition to the next track, the last track. I do still use Waves of Hope. I actually used that the day I started the stream last time. Okay, so that was Rain Street. This is the last one. I love this one. Again, close your eyes. Where are you? Where do you go? A desert at night. A purple moonbeam in space. Watching the sunrise. Nebula. Vast galaxy. I love these. Would you like to hear my interpretation? The feeling it gave me. FTW Sappy. I feel like we have a similar feeling. So this to me reminded me of that gradual ascent of a mountain where you're just getting higher and higher, and kind of that feeling where you're just like looking out amongst the valleys, the peaks of the other mountains. You can kind of see the clouds starting to get beneath you instead of above you because you're climbing so high. I called this one Mountains Ascent, so climbing the mountain. There's just something about a big mountain with clouds and the vastness of the expanse, getting higher. And you know what's funny? The person who makes all of this music is from Switzerland. So I can see more, I can hear the inspiration of the landscape within the sounds and the audio tracks. I feel like I really get it. Pretty nice, huh? And we're gonna go back to the original one. The Valley of the Clouds. This one is so nice. So nice. Let me turn my gain up just a little bit. Hello? I heard somebody. Hi, mister. Come on in. You wanna come up here? Come here, mister. Hi, buddy. for butt pads. Who is that? Is that a kiwi? Everyone's coming in now. He's like, can I lay here? Come on. Everybody's coming in. I won't be surprised if the third one joins. Hi, Kiwi. Kiwi. She's like, I don't really care. I'm going to my spot, actually. Look at them, they're so cute. Oh, ooh, nice leg stretch. Cat lady for real. That's true. Mister's going to lay by Kiwi. Oh, just kidding. He's like, I guess I'll take the other side. Well, friends, it is at this time that I would like to ask you to grab a notebook of your choosing. Yes, let's take a screenshot as well. Before I forget, just a little bleeding. That's not good. Music is so peaceful, it makes me want to be nicer to my sister. We'll bully her tomorrow instead. I wish I wasn't surprised, but I've been thinking a lot about what it must be like to have a brother and how awful that seems. And I'm so glad that I don't have one and that I only have sisters, because they seem like a menace. I'm partially joking, I'm also partially very serious. My older sister would take her money, man. Hey, I did that too, okay? But at least I didn't swirl my sister's faces in the toilet like my other friend's older brother did. Interactive stream, because the notes, well, I'll stay a bit in the background, but I'm not gone. LOL. Sounds good. Our Valley of the Clouds is refreshing. It's looping. Durf! Oh my gosh. A moment of silence for 20 gifted subs. Thank you so much. That was a long enough moment for us and the music. Well, yes, this is an interactive stream, but you can also get a lot out of it just by listening, by thinking about some of the questions that I've prepared. I'm also going to be writing them down myself, answering them, I guess, in this notebook, which today is February 18th? Yep. That's crazy. Does anyone else feel like the year is just flying by? Anybody else feel like a lot is happening? And it feels like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's already February. And also like 2026 has already had so much happen. It's like both all at once. The year is still young, of course. I just felt like yesterday was New Year's, which technically it was. That's why I'm like, wow, the year feels so fresh still. It's because we just started yesterday, the Chinese New Year. Duh. Anyway, speaking of the Chinese New Year, that's part of what we're going to be doing, a little interactive journaling prompt about. I'm gonna ask some questions. We're gonna just kinda think through our current deepest desires, what we are looking to move forward towards in the new year, what maybe we don't want to carry with us. Just a plethora of, deep hitting, deep thinking prompts for us to explore ourselves with. Thank you, Red Boy, for 10 gifted subs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you so much. I did a personal reading for myself with the cards that you gave to me. I love those cards. They're absolutely my new favorite cards. Thank you so much. Okay, I wrote the questions in my notes. 'Cause I was doing this all this morning. Okay, I'm gonna set these up here so I can refer to them. So, this year is all about, as I said, we're leaving the year of the snake. We're entering into the year of the horse, specifically the fire horse. And the fire horse symbolizes kind of like courage and taking those big leaps of faith, those risky endeavors with gusto and the sense of I'm gonna get to the other side with all 4 hooves intact, because you're a horse, obviously, so you have hooves. Jumping over the abyss, making it to the other side, because you have so much momentum. Momentum that for some of us has been long awaited. We've been brick by brick building our future circumstances, and a lot of them are finally here, coming to fruition. We've been working for a long time, or they're just now starting to begin to pan out or to take form in a way that feels like we can count on the reality and the outcome. It's not just a hypothetical anymore, it's becoming real. On that note, I created a list of some questions that I want for us to, again, personally answer in our own time. The beauty of the stream like this is that you can always come back and rewind, even if you are not available to write things down in the moment. You can come back later when you have a second, when you have more space for yourself and your thoughts and just everything that will transpire when you take time to do this. And I would recommend trying to take time to do this, even if it's not right now. Oh, I'm excited. So again, a lot of these questions I wrote specifically to not necessarily have them be an easy answer. I didn't want it to just be where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I know some people are like, that's not an easy thing to answer, but some people have it planned out. They're like, oh, I've known where I'm going to be in the next 5 years, because if all goes well, I will finish school, I'll start my job, this and that. So these are more questions about kind of like the deeper seated dreams and desires that maybe you haven't necessarily given all of the eggs to, in terms of where your baskets lie. You're like, I'm gonna wait to invest in that for real, because I just am not sure how realistic it is. I'm trying to focus on things that are gonna pan out. Part of this year of the fire horse is being brave, taking risks, doing some of the things that you've always wanted to do. So, one of my first questions is, what dream have I been hesitating to chase? So this isn't something that you have even actively tried to pursue at all whatsoever. It's something that lives rent-free in your head, and you just like know in your heart that you would probably love it so much. Something you've always wanted to pursue, but you just hold yourself back. You have certain limiting beliefs, or just, different answers for yourself as to why it's not going to work out. It's not a good idea. So what dream am I hesitating to chase at the moment? Dream or dreams. It can be multiple. And if you're feeling like you're having a hard time thinking of one specific thing, just spitfire a bunch of stuff that you feel like you've always wanted to do. Even if you're not hesitating to do it. Just start talking about your dreams, talking about your wishes. Okay, so the question again, what dream have I been hesitating to chase? What dream have I been hesitating to chase? And maybe let's add a part B to this question. What dream have I been hesitating to chase, and what are my hesitations? What specifically are the fears and worries surrounding the dream? I will give you an example of one of mine. And I'm sure that it's understandable, but still a fear and a worry nonetheless. A dream, and I've told you guys about this, that I've always hesitated on chasing more seriously, is like pursuing acting roles, or just trying to be more involved in like production work and like Hollywood, anything adjacent to Hollywood. One of my biggest worries is that industry being corrupt and scary, and like maybe not the best environment for any human being to really like live a simple, nice reality like the one I live right now. Things seem to get a lot more complicated as soon as you're a part of that kind of world, fame, stardom. And at the same time, we all have a favorite movie, we all have a favorite production, if you will, that we could watch a million times over. And if we even had a chance to be on the set, or to be just in the room with some of the people that worked on that film, we would take that opportunity in a heartbeat, because it just feels like such a magical creation in and of itself. That's what I've always striven to be a part of, is like a capsuled production of a certain movie or musical even, or just something where I play a role, I play a part different than who I really am in real life, and my version of that character lives on in people's hearts and minds as just kind of this magical embodiment of something unreal, intangible, you know. So that's mine, and that's a hesitation as to why I haven't necessarily gone full force in pursuing it. The risks seem pretty damaging at times, but the reward is like a lifelong legacy. It's pretty fun. Which, speaking of legacy, that is another question that I have, is what kind of legacy? This is your second question. Okay, your first question was what kind of dream, or what dream in general, have I been hesitating to chase? You can add a part 2. What are my hesitations? And then this is question number 2. What kind of a legacy do I care to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for, if anything? Do you wish to be unknown? Do you want to be a quiet ripple in the waves of the ocean? We talked about that last time. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for someone who was just kind of like pursuing their personal best version of things, their personal best record, best career, whatever? Or do you want to be more philanthropic and you want to be remembered for being a really good community member, or just kind of someone who was like always donating and connecting with their neighbors, people around them, always being a really like loved and well-knit member of the community? Where do you lie? Somewhere in the middle? You want to be both? What do you think of yourself? Where do you want to be seen? What do you want to be remembered by? What is your legacy, your ultimate legacy? Remember, these are like the ultimate dream versions of your answers. It's not, what do you think you would be remembered for if you died today, right now? It's, in your most ideal reality, at the end of your long natural life, what, like, top tier would you be remembered for?
Hi, little one. Hi.
Little baby's here. Psych Tsunami. Hello. Who else was I going to say hi to? An anonymous gifted Delta a subscription. Thank you for that. Somebody else had subscribed and I didn't say anything to them. I don't know where it is now, but whoever resubscribed recently on Twitch, thank you. I saw that. Welcome back. Let me know if you're writing these questions down or if you're just listening. I'm curious how many people are actually participating. Also, you're more than welcome to put your answers in the chat if you don't have a notebook to write them down. Just put it out there into the universe. I love it. Good. Thank you for giving honest answers. Alright, so we just did what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind? We're going to go to something a little bit more abstract. This one only has one answer, So you're going to take your time to really think about what word, one word only, what word defines my fire horse here? Is it courage? Is it confidence? Gusto? What is the one word that you want to define your fire horse here? What is one word that you want to be the summary of the next 365 days? Generosity, that is a great one. Generous, love it. Versatile, determination, these are wonderful. Brave, such a good one. Writing, silly goose, in one word, love it. Possibility, that is incredible, love it. That's okay. The current question is, what is the one word that you would like to define this year of the fire horse? What is the one word definition of your year ahead? I don't know if you guys remember, but last year, my goal for myself, resolution-wise, was to not procrastinate. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I did not do that great of a job. I'm not looking back feeling really proud of myself. So for this year, I think my word is, what I would like to embody at least, is fearless. I think part of my procrastination, a big summary of it, is around fear. Being afraid of some of the consequences of those risks I may be taking, or the consequence of what I might be walking into having taken so long to finally address something. How much have the plants overgrown, so to speak? How unkept is my garden mentally if I haven't tended to it in a while? So my word, I think, is fearless. I want to feel fearless in this coming year. And I think if I was a horse on fire, that's exactly how I would feel. Fearless. I'm just going to burn everything down in my path. At first, exactly. Dare to be brave. My word would be let go. I love that. I love that. There is a song called Fearless, that's true. Symbolic noise, that's a lovely set of goals to carry into the next year. All right. Does everyone feel like they've had enough time to think about their word of definition? Transcend, that's a great word. These are all really good, you guys. Let me know with a 1 or a 7 in the chat when you're next. Let me know with a 1 or a 7 in the chat. I got distracted because I did it backwards. Pew pew. When you're ready for the next question. I'm ready to tell you. Let me know when you're ready to receive with a 1 or a 7 in the chat. This next one is a little complicated to explain, but the question itself is pretty simple. And I'll explain my reasoning. Alright, looks like a lot of people are ready to move on. Beautiful, beautiful. So, my next question for you. When we think about our life, there's obviously tons of like little days that just slip into the cracks of our memory, and we don't really hold anything significant on any one of the days. They're just kind of like, let's call them gray, the color gray. Every so often, a memory will stick out that's like bright red, bright blue, bright purple, right? We have these like really memorable pillar moments within the timeline of our lives. But a lot of this space is just gray. Nothing's really happening. It was just another day. Another day filled with small moments that were nothing but ordinary. So my question to you is, and this doesn't necessarily need to be anything that you have control over. A lot of these questions are about goals, things that you can achieve, things that you can strive for. But this one is just ambiguous. It could happen to you. It could be something that you accomplish. In general, whatever it is, my question to you is, what is something that could occur this year that would make it unforgettable? What is something that you could have happen in your life? Something that you see, something you've always wanted to do. What is something that could occur, that would occur, and make this an unforgettable year for you? Completely unforgettable. It sticks out in your mind like a bright blue, bright purple, bright pink, red memory. You're like, 2026. That's the year that blank. And it's a good thing. We're thinking positive. All of this is meant to be positive and uplifting and hopeful. What is something that could happen to you this year that would make it unforgettable? Are you getting married? Are you going on the vacation to Europe you've always wanted to go on to? Or to America, to Australia, to the Arctic Circle? What are you doing? Are you finally facing your fear of heights? Climbing some big building? What are you gonna do? What would make this year unforgettable for you? And if you don't know, imagine that feeling of shock, of like overwhelming excitement, and it doesn't have any room to just pass you by because you're so immersed in it. Everywhere you look, excitement, shock, excitement, shock. You can't believe your eyes. What's in front of you? What's there? What do you see? What's taking place? What lights you up so extremely that you almost couldn't even fathom actually having it take place in front of you in this lifetime? You can be a little unrealistic. It doesn't have to always be something that's non-miraculous. It could be something crazy, but the more realistic you are, obviously, the easier it will be to now, without it having taken place, convince your body that it's coming. If you pick something you know is probably impossible, objectively, you're probably going to already have subconsciously convinced yourself there's no way it's going to happen. So you're not going to look forward to it. Pick something realistic. Realistic enough or even if it right now feels so far off in the distance, even just telling yourself that could happen this year, it like closes the gap that much more between you and that wildest dream. Just because you told yourself it could happen. Maybe it could. Maybe it actually could. I don't know how, but maybe somehow the possibility is there. Maybe it does exist. Maybe, just maybe. Again, try to really think about this. Sink into the feeling of this reality. What would make this year unforgettable for you? Completely unforgettable. In a good way. You don't want to forget. You find yourself coming back to the memory over and over again. What has taken place? Thank you so much for the feedback, Yasmin. You're so welcome. Forgetting him. That is so real. And hey, it could happen. By this time next year, you could read that chat back and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there was ever a day where I couldn't get him out of my mind. Now I never think about him. That's so crazy. I've totally been there, where I've been like, all I want is just to forget about him. Flash forward to the days where I really do, and then I have to sit and reminisce. I haven't thought about him in months. Sometimes years, depending on the person. And I just sit and reminisce on the version of me that genuinely never would have thought that was possible. That's so sweet. Thank you, Dave. Alright, what would make this year unforgettable? Have we written it down? We've defined our year with one word. We've started defining what could make this year completely unforgettable. Talking a little bit before any of that about a dream that we might be hesitating to chase, something we've always wanted, but we're nervous to go get it. I said, in my perspective, that this year is about courage, confidence. So this is another question surrounding that. And I can't remember if this is the fourth question. But this question is essentially, if I were to put on, let's call them my bold pants, and not just in like a literal sense, they're the pants that look the most colorful, the most vibrant. No, they're the pants that make you feel bold. Confidence trousers. You put those on, you button them up. You walk out into the world. If you were wearing a suit of confidence, what would your first move be? What's the first risk that you would take moving forward. If you were wearing a cloak of confidence and you felt like no rejection, no turning away of your request would shake you at all in your core, in your emotions. You were just so confident, so fired up in what you're doing, the boldness of who you are. What would your first move be? What's the first thing that you would go out without hesitation and go do?
You're drinking some water?
Quitting my job and moving on. Wow, that would be bold. That would be bold indeed. Film, paint, or create music and let all the people enjoy it. What's stopping you? The confidence to try. Leaving this town. Wow. Quit my job. Listening first. Really listening. I would find the love of my life. Asking someone out. Okay, this is a separate question I'm asking, seeing all these answers. Are these bold moves at all synonymous with the first answer you gave for the dream that you hesitate to chase? Are they similar answers, or are they now completely different things? And if they're similar, and you're telling me if you had a cloak of confidence, here's what you would do. But we've already defined why you're not doing that. I want you to come back to those hesitations. I want you to ask yourself, are those hesitations really worth me standing in the way of moving towards this, quitting my job, leaving my city, basically moving towards a life that clearly feels like it's much better aligned with you? Which I have another question about that, but we'll stick with this little bubble recircling from our first question to the last one we just asked. Are the dreams you hesitate chasing the same bold steps that you just told me you would take immediately given the opportunity to have a surge of confidence? And if so, why are you hesitating? Are those hesitations worth it? Just sit with that for a moment. Ask yourself, is it worth it? Okay? Show us the cat properly.
Hi, honey. Hi. Oh, hi.
They're all here. All three of them. All right. So we're gonna go to the center of those previous questions. And we're gonna ask. Because sometimes our dreams feel so far out of left field for who we currently are that we would need to actively become a different version of ourselves to be aligned with those dreams. But sometimes, like what you just told me, the bold moves you would take immediately are already in line with you now, the version of you right now, and that deepest desire from that version. So I want to ask, with all of these things considered, the dreams you hesitate to chase, the hesitations that you have for those dreams in mind, what do you feel like is a risk that you know feels so scary to take, but it's so dead set in alignment with where you want to be, who you want to become? What is the risk or set of risks right now that you know feel the scariest, but they're going to be perfectly aligned with who you want to be, where you want to go? What are the scary aligned risks that you have in front of you right now? Owen, hey Cherie, love your videos. They have been a big help for me. Thought I would mention it's my birthday today. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much for the super chat, Owen, and happy birthday. Also, happy 18 months, holy cannoli. Welcome in and welcome back. For anyone who is just now tuning in, we are doing a little journaling exercise, question and answer interaction exercise, and it's centered around the year of the fire horse, this new Chinese New Year that we've just entered into yesterday. Happy Lunar Chinese New Year for anyone who's celebrating. I know I am, because this is usually when I truly feel the energy of renewal, not normal New Year's that we have in America. And because of that, we're doing a little refresh in our thoughts, in our goals, in our dreams. If you want to join us, it's not too late. Grab a pen and a paper. And the last question that I just asked is, what kind of risks feel so scary right now, and also so deeply aligned with where you want to be going, who you want to turn out to be at the end of the day, the person who leaves behind that legacy that we talked about earlier. And to really get the most out of this, of course, it's good to be really personal in your answers and like play to your strengths in some regards, but in others, I want you to think about these questions so abstractly that regardless of how close you may be to these traits, qualities, characteristics that you're describing, you're still describing them to your highest ideals, your highest hopes and dreams. Maybe not even for yourself, but just in general, when you think of the legacy you want to leave behind. Maybe it's something that feels slightly different than what you would be able to achieve by yourself. That doesn't mean it's not your legacy. It probably just means you're supposed to work in tandem with more people than just yourself to achieve it. Nothing wrong with that. Doom Squirrel, that sounds incredible. Huge undertaking, very big risk, but potentially lifelong peace and reward. Sounds really, really nice. Really promising. Taking guitar lessons, nice. I hope some of you can recognize, and this was my hope in doing this that some of these goals aren't all that grand. They're not all that crazy. Like taking instrumentation lessons. I think you can do that. I think you could figure out how to achieve that. And I think it would make you feel really good. So, definitely something worth looking into. The only thing you have to lose is your previous version of identifying yourself by being someone who's always wanted to do that instead of someone who's tried it. Maybe you fail, maybe you succeed, but at least you're someone who tried instead of someone who always wanted to but never did. I would like to develop my mystical gifts more. I love that. All right. This one, we're gonna come back. This one's gonna be a little self-honesty moment. Okay? I want you guys to be open to answering this in a way that is maybe not the most ideal at times, but it's honest. Again, this needs to just be really, really honest. Be really honest with yourself about this and make sure that everything you feel like you're writing or just like putting down somewhere is private, so you can be really honest. If you feel like you're writing things down where someone might read them or see them, maybe just think about this one or write it in a note on your phone and then delete it. Write it on a piece of paper and then burn it, throw it away. But this is just for you, just for your own thoughts. And it's not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. It's just meant to be honest, okay? The next question is, what relationships, these are anyone in your life, what relationships do I have in my life right now that are supportive of my freedom in all senses? What relationships do I have that are supportive of my freedom? And what relationships do I have that are restricting of my freedom? This can be freedom of time and energy, like literally lack of freedom. This can also be freedom emotionally, mentally. Who makes you feel like you can't be a full version of yourself? Who makes you feel like you need to play small to keep them comfortable? Freedom has many different boundaries. But just objectively asking yourself what relationships in your life make you feel nice and free, wild, like the fullest flourishing version of yourself, and like you have the ability to explore all of the different versions in that person. Or in contrast, what relationships make you feel like you can't do that exploration of self, be free in whatever version you are, limiting, inhibiting, prohibiting your freedoms? What relationships in your life make you feel like that? On the contrast, who makes you feel free? Who does not? Actually, stretchy bands stopped someone from pledging because of that exact perspective. I just kind of was like, I don't know if this is the best thing for you. I'm not sure if this kind of community is worth the alternative consequences. So how can you get something out of that still? Hello, Original Chill. Happy 40 months. 40 months. I cannot even believe that. So what relationships are making you feel free? Like you have all the freedom in the world in all directions. And what relationships are not making you feel like that? Adrian Nosy, thank you for the $20 super chat. I always go to sleep watching your videos. Thanks for what you do. You're an amazing person, I can tell. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. I'll never be in a relationship, TBH. Again, these can be any relationships in your life. It doesn't mean romantic, exclusively relationships with friends, peers, colleagues, parents, anyone really. So I have only a couple more questions left. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome. So, kind of along the same lines of things that we've talked about before, this one is a little more along the lines of like the fear, risk, involvement, but also just kind of like self-identifiers that maybe we're afraid to embody. I think that's part of being courageous and bold, and like maybe what we're not acknowledging fully is that a lot of us don't do the things we've always wanted to, not because we're necessarily like self-judging, we're just so worried about the opinions of other people that even if we were like, I think it's cool, I think it's awesome, if they said they didn't think that, it wouldn't matter if we thought it was cool and awesome. It would hurt us enough to not want to do it anymore. So I'm curious, and I would like you to get curious in yourself. Maybe these answers have all started becoming the same, but that's good. If you have a lot of overlapping things, I hope you can see it just points out very directly what your heart is calling you to right now. I want to ask, what are you deeply passionate about? What am I deeply passionate about? You're asking yourself. But I rarely admit it out loud, even to myself. What am I really passionate about? What do I really care about? But I rarely admit it out loud, even to myself. In other words, what are you so self-judging of, either for the perspective of other people, the prospective perspective, because a lot of them obviously don't even know. You're just judging in place of what you think they might think. Or maybe you really do kind of judge yourself for it, even if you don't think other people might. But what are you really passionate about? What really lights you up inside, puts you on fire, makes you want to run fast like a horse towards that something, but you would rarely ever feel confident and comfortable enough to say it out loud. What is it? What is the thing? Think deep within yourself. It's okay. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge your answer. Just answer honestly, as honest as possible. And then again, cross-check. Is that thing that you rarely say out loud in the same category as any of the other answers you've already given? Is it the same kind of thing as what you would have done if you put your bold pants on, walked out into the world, and went to take your first step? Would your feet land on the same place? The quiet dreams, the very loud ones, how synonymous are they with each other? You like my green shirt? Thank you. Interesting. Slam, thank you for the cheer. I appreciate that. Also, thank you, Anna Wack, for the super chat. They said, hello, AI. I wish. Sorry. Just a real human over here. Which absolutely sounds like something an AI would say, but we're not AI. Feast of Ashes. Thank you for the 500 bits. Red Boy. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Proxima, thank you. You're ready for the next question, okay? Thank you for letting me know. The mathematic. Thank you for the 724 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Alright. I'm coming down to some of my last questions. I want you to think for this one about some of your previous years, in particular this past year. I already admitted to you that through setting a resolution for myself, saying I want to not procrastinate as much, I've been reflecting, and I can say that I still struggled with that. And when I think about why, it's because I'm afraid to do a lot of things that I have on my list of priorities, and I procrastinate those things because of the fear, because of the worries, the hesitations. And yet, a lot of those fears are surrounding some of those risks that are very aligned with exactly what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to go, and procrastinating them is only keeping me stuck in the same position that I'm ready to move forward from, right? Which can sometimes feel like I'm not trusting my gut, I'm not trusting my intuition. At least for me, that's how the expression feels like it manifests. So my question for this one is, if I were to be fully trusting of my instincts this year versus last year or some of the years prior, if I were to be fully trusting of my instincts this year, of my gut, of my intuition, what would I do differently than I did last year? How would I move differently? And I want you to try to think about some specific examples of this. If I were fully in tune in trusting my gut and my intuition, what would I do differently than I did last year? How would I show up differently? What was the question again? Sorry, no worries. My question is, thinking about this past year, some of those fears, worries, risks you didn't want to take, even if your intuition was saying, this is a good thing, it's good for you. Sometimes the moves that we feel called to make, especially the really big, scary ones, are things that don't make sense for everything that we can see and consider right now in terms of context and factors. But in 5 years' time, making that really big move makes perfect sense because of everything that followed afterwards. It's so clear 5 years down the road why you had to jump over that one bridge, ride over that one abyss, because if you didn't get to the other side, you would have found that at every turn there was a dead end, a cliff, the edge. And when you jumped over that abyss without being able to see the other side, you actually landed at the base of the next mountain you were supposed to climb. And 5 years later, you're up at the peak and you're looking down at all the progress and you're like, oh hey, there's that rift in the rock that I had to jump over 5 years ago, that I sat at the edge of, and I thought to myself, what if there's no other side? What if I jump and there's nothing there to catch me? What if there's nothing there? Does that analogy make sense? You asked me what the question is. And the question is, if you were to trust your instincts, if you were to trust each time you're being called to take the leap that there was a ground on the other side, what do you think you would do differently this year than you did last year? What sort of things would you be called to and actually show up versus some of the things last year that maybe now you can see would have been a really good decision to have made, but in the moment it was just too scary and you couldn't do it. You couldn't bring yourself to say yes, even though you knew a part of you was so loudly saying, you need to do it, you need to do it, it's good for you, it's gonna be so good for you, even if you can't see it right now. It's so good for you. Just trust. But you didn't trust it, and that's okay. Now you're here, and you can see, oh, it wouldn't have even turned out bad. I should have just trusted my gut. Should have trusted my intuition. How would you do that moving forward? Think about it. Think about it, yeah? I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick. And when I come back, we have 2 more questions to ask before we're going to just kind of cap off our little journaling session. we'll do a little ASMR and we'll call it a day. Thank you for being here. I'll be right back. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for waiting for me. I'm back. And I've got a question for you. Just 2 more questions, yeah? Just 2 more. 2 more of my questions. I've been watching Love is Blind in the UK lately. they've got some very funny accents. How's it going, Bubs? They call each other Babs. How you doing, Babs? They can't be bothered to say babe, so they say Babs. I think it's very funny. I think it's just downright hilarious. Anyway, 2 more questions left. First of our 2 questions is, what is a part of my identity? What is a part of my identity that is directly corresponding with some of my fears and hesitations? This is a very deep question, so take your time thinking about it. What part of my identity is directly attached to my fears and hesitations? And how can I burn it away? What old identifiers do you have about yourself that are directly attached to your fears, worries, hesitations? Like I said, maybe part of how you identify yourself is being someone that's really bad at singing, really bad at drawing. You're really bad at doing something even though you've always wanted to be good at that thing. But because you're not, you've made it an identity to not even try. You've never even done it. I want you to ask yourself, what parts of who you think you are solely rooted around fears, hesitations, aspects of your biggest dreams that you're too nervous to even start pursuing because it might shift the way you identify yourself, instead of being someone who is just not good at those things, so they don't even attempt to be bad at them, because that would make you a failure, perhaps. It would make you see yourself in a more critical light, a little more negative, inherently, of a character trait, versus the guy who's good at everything except for that one thing that we all just know he's really bad at, even though he hasn't really tried to get better. But he's so good at so many other things. If he were to try that and be bad at it, he would just turn into a failure, despite all those other things he's really good at. Do you hear what I'm trying to say? What parts of your identity are so rooted around certain things you're just afraid to try, that you don't even think of trying them, because to do so would mean you might have to identify yourself differently as someone who tried certain things and wasn't necessarily super talented, super good, but not terrible either, average. Well, shoot, you can't really identify yourself off of being average, can you? Gotta find something else. Sometimes I think that's enough for us to just cling to identifying with being really bad at something, or being really afraid of doing something to the point where it becomes an identifier in itself. So what do you identify with? Attached to your fears, and how can you burn away that part of your identity in the blazing mane of the fire horse?
How can you? How can you do it? Little one. Thank you. It's amazing.
I identify as Vivi. Yes, they are just hanging out. Truly, Ponyta. That's perfect. Alright, this one is a little bit shallow for our last question. But I think it's kind of fun, and I personally like it. So I wanted to throw it in there. It's a little shallow. Some of you aren't gonna really take anything from this. But we talked about putting on your bold pants. We've talked about, like, embodying certain aspects of these new traits and characteristics, the legacy of who you want to be, what you want to leave behind, yada yada yada. There's a certain person, a type of person of yourself that you're gonna create bit by bit, piece by piece, that embodies these traits and characteristics. So my last question to you is there any physical attributes, physical changes, physical upgrades in general? Are there any physical characteristics of this new identity that you feel like the adoption of would immediately shift your reality? Like dyeing your hair bright red. That's a really big shift. Very big identifier. People are going to start to be like, that person has really bright red hair. I don't really know their name, I just know they have really bright red hair. Is there any physical identity risks, fears, hesitations you have that jumping into getting a nose piercing that you've always wanted to get? Or, the haircut, the clothing style, etc. Is there any physical embodiment of this version of yourself that you've always been nervous to dive into, to fully embrace, that you could maybe start to consider doing sooner rather than later? The mohawk, the mullet. What lights you up? What makes you feel like the most free, unabashed version of yourself? What would you do if it didn't matter what anyone else thought? Just you. How would you be the coolest version of yourself? Maybe the coolest version of yourself looks really clean and polished and professional, because when you were a kid, that's what you always wanted to be, was the clean, polished, professional, put together adult. Me, as a kid, I always acknowledged and embodied the ideal archetype of like a cool adult being eccentric, well-traveled, very exuberant in themselves. So pretty much the opposite of clean, polished, put together. They don't need to be. They're all over the place. That's the person I've always looked up to, and I feel like it's obvious. I feel like you can tell the way that I carry my life. So, is there any physical changes, big or small, it doesn't matter, that could help you feel like you more embody the coolest version of yourself? And what's stopping you from doing it? And those are my questions for you. I suppose we could do a little bonus one. And that is, as we move into this new year of the fire horse, I want you to just list, kind of along the lines of the question I asked. That was like, what would happen this year that could make it unforgettable? I want you to list just kind of some like wildest dreams that you have for this year. Like, if I were to follow all of my wildest dreams, all of the opportunities that I had that I could present to myself, what would I do? Where would I end up? Like, if I got my dream haircut and then right after that I auditioned for my dream role or my dream job, and then right after that I went on my dream vacation, you know what I mean? Like, what's on your list? How many things do you think you could do realistically in the next year? How many things could you give yourself to look forward to? How much closer could you get to that ideal version of yourself? It's always going to change a little bit, because as you embody certain characteristics and traits, you might realize, ooh, the me a year ago that was writing this list really wanted a mohawk. The 10-year-old me really wanted a mohawk. Now that I've had a mohawk, the me from this past year who had the mohawk really does not want a mohawk anymore. Now my dream is to have all the rest of my hair again. That's fine. Grow your hair out. Whatever excites you, you know what I mean? So think about what excites you, and then how can you get there? How fast can we get to that? And that's my questions. Thank you for answering. Thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed our little interactive journaling and prompts. I've been preparing this. Fun. I love that. Ooh, well. Conquered this last year, growing out the hair, piercings, new clothes, workout routine. Just need to lose some pounds and then I'll be satisfied. See? That's so many different upgrades, and yet you manage to just start doing them. Because once you embrace one new thing about yourself, I'm telling you, it's really easy to do the next thing and the next thing. Especially if you've had an identity that's been structured around very specific things for a long time. As soon as you remove some of those foundational pieces of who you think you are, the ones that never were meant to define you in the first place, like being bad at singing. Maybe your choir teacher in like primary school told you that you were a bad singer, and now at 35 you're like, I'm a bad singer. Are you? Are you really? Or did one person just say that to you when you were a kid and then you adopted that as your identity and you were like, I'm a really bad singer and I always will be for the rest of my life. I'm gonna be so bad at singing that before I even ever sing in front of anyone, I'm gonna just tell them, hey, just so you know, I'm a bad singer. I'm not even gonna let you decide if that's true or not. I'm just gonna tell you I'm a bad singer. What happens when you later start to remove some of those identifiers about yourself? I think it opens up a lot of room for, of course, new things to be invited in. Like perhaps instead of thinking that you're a bad singer, thinking that you're just an average person that's an okay singer. And if you want to get better, you're someone that's in training. You're going to vocal lessons. That's still an identifier. That's a character trait. To be someone dedicated enough to a passion, even if they're not naturally talented, to the point where they're pursuing it, regularly committing energy and effort to the cause. You're gonna get better. You might not be the best, but you don't have to be. You'll still be better than the version of you that thought you were bad at singing. Because now you're going to class and you're learning how to get better. You know what I mean? So long story short, when you embrace and remove certain parts of your identity that don't move you closer to the person you've always wanted to be, it leaves a lot of room to start embracing new parts of the identity you've always wanted to become. And I think also something we don't realize or acknowledge is the fact that a lot of the people we strive to be are only those people because of the choices they make every day. I heard something recently, and it said beauty is a choice. And it's true. You can take two people equally physically the same, and if one person spends 3 hours every day dedicated towards their appearance, and the other person just doesn't, objectively, we might look at one person versus the other and think they're clearly much more attractive, right? But are they more attractive, or have they just invested a lot more time, energy, and effort into being beautiful because it's a priority to them specifically? A lot of the characteristics that we admire and maybe envy in others, we also don't necessarily recognize the sacrifice of in terms of time, money, energy. Maybe all you've ever wanted is to be an XYZ athlete or an XYZ famous career path. But again, do you really understand the day-to-day realities of the time needed to invest in that? The specific criterias and each investment those individually entail to make up the archetype of what you're looking to be? Do you want to do that? Do you want to go to the gym for X amount of hours every day? Or would you genuinely rather be outside, in the grass, on a hike, at the beach, reading a book, doing something else? Do you really want that life, that archetype? Or are there just aspects about that person that you admire individually, and yet if you were to have to do everything they do to get to that point, you would actually say, I'm good, that doesn't sound all that exciting anymore. Sounds like actually a lot of hard work that I don't want to do, because the specific work involved isn't my favorite. No, instead of working out for 10 hours every day to be really fit and like attractive physically, I think I'd rather learn calculus and be really smart. Or maybe you're already really smart. You've identified with being a nerd, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna go to the gym. Your friends are like, you can't just do that. You can't just become a gym bro. You're a nerd. You're like, no, I'm gonna go get fit. Watch me. I'm gonna invest my time into that. You can always change. You can always shift. You just also have to be honest about the criteria it takes to get there. I remind myself of that all the time if I see a woman or a celebrity who has whatever. I have to tell myself, okay, they look like that because they hired 4 or 5 different people from multiple different ranges of expertise to all spend X amount of hours putting together a look, doing the makeup, the styling, the photography, the editing, whatever. There's a team of people creating this. And I'm just one girl with a camera. Shoot. Should my expectations really be at the same point? Probably not. And then I start to feel a lot less comparing, because I recognize I can only really compare myself to myself, right? That's the only true, accurate variables that I can go back and forth with. Or no one, of course. Those are my 2 cents on everything. Take everything we've talked about into account moving forward to the year of the fire horse, confidently, with stamina and sheer willpower to be the person you've always wanted to be for no one else but yourself, because it's gonna make you happy and it's gonna make life way more worth living. And that sounds worth it to me. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the moment that we transition from philosophical conversation and questions into the world of ASMR. Yay. She's licking the blanket a little bit. Who's that fluff ball in the back? There's actually 3 of them.
Got 1, 2, 3.
They're all aligned. The stars are aligned.
Oh my goodness.
They're so cute. Vivi is getting bigger. She is. Constellation. I love that. Whoa. You said I've been watching since your 8th video 3 years ago. I love that. What video was that specifically? Hi, Proxima. Hi, Joseph. Yes, I actually did see your email. Just forgot to get back to it. I had questions and potential revisions, but we need to work out a price before that. But I did see your animation and it was a very cute start. Ace, happy 6 months, welcome back. Also, Proxima, thank you for sending 5 memberships on YouTube. Thinking about all of the lovely answers that you've just given to the journal prompts. Letting some of that inner wisdom sink in. Calm contemplation, warm introspection happening. Very effortlessly, naturally in the background of things, the background of your mind, subconscious. Checking in so you can go ahead and check out. Relax. Listen to the ASMR. The nice scratching. Thank you. I'm glad you liked that video. I need to make the part 2 very soon. A little quiet reminder. If this is your first time here, first of all, hello. Welcome. Thanks for being here. And if you're enjoying things, don't forget to follow me or subscribe if you're on YouTube. Make sure you don't lose my profile in the sea of all the other people online, because I can't tell you how many times that happens to me, where I want to bring something up, I have a reference of something in my mind, something I saw, read, watched, and I didn't save it or like it or interact in any way, so it's gone, it's lost into the sea of the internet. So don't forget to plant your anchor here by following. You can leave the notifications off, it doesn't matter. I'll be here whenever you venture your way back to Twitch or YouTube. But just don't forget to follow, subscribe. It's free. And you'll get to, have the fun bonus of being updated when I upload anything new or go live. Like right now. Like right now, right here, right now. Just saying. Disney Dan said, "Thank you for bringing so much positive energy into my day." You're welcome. Thank you for being here to receive it. Big Man said, "It's my birthday next week." Congratulations. Do you ever think you will remake some older videos? What do you mean? Like film them again? Probably not. Not really. There's some things I think like, oh, I could do that better now, but I kind of like having things be whatever they are with the budget and production value. Film the same concept like a series, maybe. ASMR videos, not roleplay. I feel like I've done a lot of repetitive triggers, but what do you have in mind specifically that you feel like I haven't done more than once? Okay. I'll be waiting. Are you still making jewelry? I am. You'll see very soon, don't worry. I'm hoping by summertime I will have things back up and released. I love how this foam rectangle sounds. Is that a cat in the background? It's actually 3 of them.
1, 2, 3.
Little babies. They love cuddling all together these days. I thought I was hearing that too, Slam. You have to remember I live in the city, so people can be walking around outside. But I was like, I feel like I keep hearing somebody. I didn't know if it was all in my head. There has been a lot of activity recently. You're in the country, it's nice and quiet out there. I'm so jealous. You're so lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Is that a green screen backdrop? No. It is real. Real as can be.
See. Oh, so real. Real babies.
Some real little kitties. 3 of them. Stretching, sleeping just like you're going to be. Am I real? No. The background is, but I'm not, thank goodness. I'm nothing but a figment of your imagination. Just a figment of your imagination. Don't really exist at all. Would you like to be next? Fine. We have some bubble wrap. Crinkly, crunchy, green bubble wrap. Green bubble wrap. Hold on, I need to take a sip of my coffee. The ASMR is starting to get to me. I can feel myself getting a bit nappy. Like I want to take a bit of a nap. I'm a bit sleepy. That's a wrap. That is a wrap. Oh, delicious. I need to take a selfie with all the kitties. Spam the chat. Don't forget your peace sign. Good job. If you're in there, you're in there. I took these earlier. I was like, I should use these for the thumbnail. Then I forgot. And then I got distracted. I forget what I was doing. Oh, I was adding the new music. That's what I was doing. Good. I'm glad you posed for a selfie. And now, oh, let me look at the one that is right now. The one now is good, I guess. It's fine. It's good. Thank you. Does anyone else approve of my natural hair journey? Trying to get my waves and my curls. I've been having fun with it. Can't lie. Alright, here comes the bubble wrap. I don't want to shock you. Just noticed I have bits that I never used. Thank you, Gabriel. Nice. I love boar bristle brushes. Boar bristled brush. Boar bristled brush. Bristle. Bristle. Say, are you staying hydrated? Do you perhaps need a glass of water? Now might be a good time to go and grab yourself one. I love that bubble wrap. Sounds like a nice popping and crackling fire, or even the soft pitter patter of rain. Just such a versatile sound. And actually, bubble wrap is the first trigger that I had gain traction on my YouTube. That happens. Have you got another Southern Charmer part in the works / future plans? Yes. Yes and no, but yes, I will be coming back to that. I'm not sure when, but yes. Hello. 222 Raiders just entered from Candy ASMR. We've got our little shout out going in the chat already because my mod is epic. Hello Raiders, hello Kenny. I hope you had an amazing stream. Thank you guys for being here. We are just dabbling in some bubble wrap. That happens, Thomas. Totally get that. But welcome in. Just celebrated 2 years of streaming. Congratulations. I love that for you. That's so exciting. Thank you, Michael. Tomorrow is Ramadan, I heard. I spoke about that earlier. I said my little hello and congrats to all of the celebrators in the moment. We have the Chinese New Year that just happened, Mardi Gras, celebrating the beginning of Lent, Ramadan, All very, very exciting things. DJ the artist, thank you for the super chat. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you, thank you. I am going to move the mic just ever so close to you so I can do this a little bit closer. Following my fingertip across the screen. Focusing your attention over here and over here. Switching hands, focusing on the finger in front of you. Plucking any negative energy out, any remaining stress, tension, worry, plucking it out and releasing you, releasing you, plucking out once again, oh, Sunny, thank you. I was like, you know who else really likes focus? I'm just gonna pretend that was Sabrina. I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh. Thank you, Sabrina, so much. Thank you so much. Sabrina. A little update. Just while I'm so close and I have your attention and your eye contact. If you may remember, hopefully you do. Also, I partially hope you don't remember. But if you do remember the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z alphabet series that I was doing with the trigger words. We have them all written down from a different day. Fear not. Very soon, that video will be not only long form recorded, but it will also be chopped up into shorts as promised, one for each letter of the alphabet. It was a long stream, that's true. And I just wanted to say I haven't forgotten about that. It will be coming soon. And I'm very, very excited because trigger words are some of my absolute favorites. yeah, I just can't wait. Speaking of trigger words, before we do the ones on the list, why don't you give me in the chat right now some of your favorite trigger words, and I will repeat some of them back to you in both whispering but also soft speaking, because for some people they're very different. Popcorn, 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 popcorn. Kakuna, 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 kakuna. That's a good one. Is that a Pokemon? Kakuna. Cinnamon. Cinnamon, 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 chocolate, 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 penguin, 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 penguin. Little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. Ooh, I could totally see why that one is on there. I like that. Little bit. Thank you for the tip. Mario said chopped and screwed. Wedgie always sounds funny. Wedgie, 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 wedgie. I can see why. Existence, existence, existence. Lavender, 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 lavender. Lavender, lavender, coconut, 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 Tokyo, that's a good one, Tokyo, 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 crackling, 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 crackling. Crocodile, crocodile, lazy Yangs, lazy Yangs. Thank you for subscribing, welcome in. Thank you for the Prime sub, taking advantage of that free subscription, which, in case you guys didn't know, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch subscription, and you can use it on my channel. Pretty cool, pretty good stuff. pickle, 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 pickle. Stuck in a pickle, stuck in a pickle, 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 pickle. I hear Amazon Prime pays less than a regular sub. Well, naturally, considering the subscription is free. It technically pays like cents or something. But who cares? It's cheaper for you guys, so you're already paying for your Amazon Prime. I'm just trying to make sure that you know there's a benefit that you can get out of it. Passport is so good. Passport. 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 Pumpkin. 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 Cav, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome in. Pepper, pumpkin, pumpernickel, pepper, pumpkin, peppernickel, pumpernickel. Relaxing. Relax. Relaxing. Closing those eyes. Relaxing your eyelids. Releasing your jaw. Melting away any remainder of tension in your face, from your forehead down over your eyes, nose, cheek, mouth, down over your chin and your jaw softening into your neck, feeling the weight of your head sinking a little deeper from all of that relaxation washing over you now from your head, starting at the tip of your forehead down, over your shoulders, relaxing. Relaxing your rib cage, your chest, with every breath, inhaling and exhaling. Feeling the tension in your back, along your spine, melting. Feeling this calm tranquility passing over your hips, down your legs, relaxing the back of your knees, calves, shin bones, ankles, the arches of your feet, all the way down to your pinky toes, relaxing your hands, wrists, feeling your entire body from head to toe, releasing all stress, tension, all of it was carried away along with the train that just finished passing us by. You imagine yourself waving goodbye, farewell to that stress, worry, feelings of heaviness, discomfort, as you watch them fade away with the caboose of the train and the trail of smoke that follows it as it twists, weaves, and winds over the hills beyond the horizon, carrying all of that stress and tension along with it. You take a nice deep breath, feeling calm, clear, peaceful, and relaxed. You can hear and feel more space around you, like the room has opened up just a bit more to hold even more space for the things that you would like to call in at this time. Hopes, dreams, visions, ideals of the future. They flood in to your awareness now, and you welcome them with open arms and a smile, knowing you are even more ready to meet them as they come. Everything that you've always wanted to be, everything you strive for is right at your fingertips now, right within your reach. All you must do is decide to claim it. And so it is. You can open your eyes if you feel called to, or you can keep them closed. Taking a nice deep breath with this newfound space. And releasing. Another nice deep breath in. And exhaling. Last deep breath. In. And releasing. Allowing your mind to wander. As you begin to shift your awareness from your thoughts, sensations internally to some of the sounds, external stimuli that I am here providing with you. And as you listen, again, just giving your mind, your spirit the freedom to wander wherever it goes. Just observing free of judgment. Coming back to your breath if you feel any discomfort or uneasiness. Just relaxing. Jack, thank you for the $20 super chat. James, thank you for the $2 super chat. Good night from the UK. Good night. Just relaxing. If you feel called to share any thoughts, feelings, anything on your heart right now, lovely community in the chat, I would like to open up the floor for anyone who would like to share how this has made them feel here today. And if that doesn't apply to you, no worries. Feel free to immerse yourself in a different layer of things, a little more individually focused, and simply enjoy the rest of the stream as it best suits you accordingly. Those who do feel like sharing, the space is yours. We are all ready to meet you with a gentle openness, kind, gentle, compassionate space of people. EJ says they are at peace and full of gratitude. I love that. I feel very calm and centered personally, grounded. Thomas said, I've been dealing with extra stress lately. And this is the calmest I've been in a while. I'm so glad. Makes me so happy to hear. It's okay to relax. You are safe. 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 Safe to relax. I enjoyed this a lot, but I have to leave for bed now. Do you have a schedule for future streams? At the moment, I don't necessarily have a schedule, but I was just thinking about how I am probably ready to start tacking one down again. So if you're ever curious, check my Twitch profile, and if there is scheduled streams on there, that's your answer. If there is, it will typically be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, around 3 p.m. Central Standard Time as the start. Same time as today. still need some time to wind down and fall asleep. I just recently uploaded an hour support.